Okay, let's say we have a server and we forgot the password of our root user. Normally, if we have a session which is already logged in, we could just use the password command and paste in a new password and change it. Because the special thing about the root user is that he doesn't need to re-enter his current password to set a new one. But if we are logged out like this, we don't have the option to enter the shell to get to the password command, so we have to do a little bit of a workaround. This workaround should work on most of the Linux distributions. Using an Alma Linux, a Red Hat based system right here, but I know it's working on SUSE as well, and it should be working on Debian as well, since it's using just basics of the kernel. So first of all, we need to reboot our system. And as soon as we see this grub screen, you have to use one of the enter keys to stop the boot process. Then you go to your normal kernel that you want to boot and press E to edit. Now we go down to the line where the Linux is in front. This line contains all the boot parameters which are passed through to the kernel to specify how the system should be booted. And at the end of this, we can just add the parameter rdbreak, which will cause the kernel to boot normally until the point where normally the init system like systemd would kick in and start all the services. In our case, it will stop there and give us a shell to go to a maintenance mode of the system. If we now press Ctrl X, we can start our system with this new parameter rd.init and get a shell. Now we are in a switch root environment. If we have a look at all our file systems that are mounted, right at the bottom we see under /sysroot our normal root partition. But currently it's mounted in a read-only state, which is unfortunate because in a read-only state we cannot change the password. Therefore we have to remount it and in a read-write configuration, again under /sysroot. If we look again, we can see that it's now read-write. Now we have to change the root of our system to the /sysroot so that our system can work as we are used to. Therefore we use change root to /sysroot, and if I look now at our root directory, we have a normal directory tree. This means that also our normal commands are working, like our password command. We can now go ahead and set a new password for our root user, and this will change the root password. But since our system is in a recovery state and not fully loaded, things like SELinux aren't working in this environment, which means we just broke the context of the etc shadow and the etc password file. That would be a major problem if we just reboot the system now. But luckily there's an option to instruct SELinux to relabel all the contexts at the next system boot. Therefore we just need to create the auto relabel file like so, and then we can just exit out of our change root directory and exit out of our recovery shell. Now the restore of the context X is in progress, which might take a moment depending on the size of your file system, but after that the system will boot as you're used to. And now we can log in with our newly set password.